Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's GTA video, we're going to be talking about how the first actor for Grand Theft Auto 6 might have actually been revealed. So as things currently stand, no information is known about GTA 6, other than the fact we know it's likely going to happen. It's the most successful gaming franchise of all time. Like GTA 5 is this either second or third most selling video game in the world of all time. It's crazy. And like I mentioned, even though we haven't gotten an official confirmation from Rockstar, they've gone on to say they have 45 years worth of ideas. It's obvious it's coming. We just don't know what it's about quite yet. Well, before Red Dead Redemption 2 released in 2017, I covered this story. An actor by the name of Tim Neff had something very interesting posted on his resume. So it's very common that actors and motion capture artists and voiceover artists will create resumes of their work, similar to an IMDb. And on his resume page, what's interesting is it featured all the films that he was in and the roles that he was doing. And then there was a section on motion capture, and that motion capture section was very interesting. It featured two Rockstar titles, both at the time had been unreleased: Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto 6. And that was incredibly interesting. So this got a lot of people interested because Red Dead Redemption 2 was confirmed and was coming out soon, but also that GTA 6, that is something a lot of people were interested in. What was his role? Is he the main character? Is he just doing stunt work? There were so many unanswered questions. And it did seem as if Tim Neff would have fit the role for a Grand Theft Auto character. On his official IMDb, it says Tim Neff is a working actor and filmmaker with a strong passion for martial arts. In his early years, Tim moved around regularly, exposing himself to a multitude of cultures, thereby making himself a student of life and an expert in the subtleties of human communication. This skill has helped him tremendously in his current film and acting work relating ... Again, so he's got like military experience. He has martial arts experience. I guess something that would work really well for Grand Theft Auto in whatever role that happens to be in. Now, there's definitely a little bit of an update to this story that I didn't get to cover back in 2017. So after this started blowing up, it wasn't just myself that covered this. Big articles like PC Gamer and IGN, they started covering this story, because at the time, it was the first reference of an actor being in Grand Theft Auto 6, which we had never seen before. And so this started getting back around to Tim Neff, who obviously started denying it profusely. So we saw this on his Twitter account. That initial resume was found on a website called Breakdown Express, and he was responding to people. The main issue is I don't even have a Breakdown Express account, so I don't know who made that. And there's a couple of other replies as well that basically say the exact same thing, that, that account was not made by him, which seems very strange. Like, who would go out of their way to make someone else's resume page and lie about what they did? Now, I certainly don't want to rule anything out, but again, that seems highly unlikely. And after this story started to gather more and more and more attention, it seems as if Tim Neff's agent actually responded. According to PC Gamer, and I'll leave this link in the description, when asked about Neff's potential involvement in Grand Theft Auto 6 or RDR2, his agent said, "We asked him and he's not a part of that. He thinks it must be something made up online because he's definitely not a part of that." That's the direct quote right there. So I don't know how convincing that is, but clearly, if Tim Neff was under an NDA, which he would have been if he was working on Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 6, that's of course the response he was going to try and have. It seems as if he was definitely trying to save some face here, because that is a huge mess up, having that on your resume page. Even going back to the most recent game, Red Dead Redemption 2, the actors weren't allowed to reveal who they played until the game came out. That's when you started seeing on day one all the people like Roger Clark and Steve J. Palmer coming back and say, like, "Hey, I'm Arthur and I'm Bill Williamson." So they weren't even allowed to say that until the game came out, even with their characters in the game being confirmed. So with a completely unconfirmed game like GTA 6, it's pretty clear why he would have to have that sort of response. So now here's where things take an interesting twist, because the entire time Tim Neff and his agent has said that that resume was fake and that it was made up by someone. And what's interesting is if you go to that resume page now, you will find that the motion capture section is gone. So that's like the only section that's been removed. So again, interesting. If it's fake, if it wasn't his, why would that one section be the one that gets updated? Well, things get even crazier. Well, things take a more interesting twist because we can actually find another official resume page for Tim Neff. And this time it mentions his motion capture acting roles. However, this time it's a little bit more generic. So you can see under motion capture it now says Red Dead Redemption by Rockstar Games, Grand Theft Auto by Rockstar Games, and you can see a couple of other big titles in there as well, like Call of Duty, Reborn. So that is interesting. This time, instead of listing the specific titles, it just lists the series that it's in. Grand Theft Auto series, the Red Dead Redemption series. So that's interesting. Again, if he never worked on it, why would this ultimately be here? And it's very clear that Tim Neff does a lot of this motion capture work. If you just go through his Instagram page, you will find a ton of photos of him wearing motion capture suits and on the sets where they would be filming stuff like that. In fact, one of the interesting things that came about when this story first broke was a photo that he had on his Instagram page from 2016. It looks like it was a photo of the Rockstar San Diego offices. And he said, "Here we go again to another good couple of days." And again, notice the date there, October 2016. That would have either been A, right around the time when Rockstar was doing work for Red Dead Redemption 2, or B, maybe some early preliminary work for Grand Theft Auto 6, or maybe both. Maybe his role is something that we don't necessarily see in a main character. And that's what I want to talk about next. What could his potential role ultimately be? So I've actually done some research and I've looked into a lot of Tim Neff's roles, and it seems as if more of the roles that he takes is stunt work. So he would be like an action double or something like that. So maybe that's what we saw in Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, we've even heard from people like Roger Clark and Benjamin Byron Davis that state that they weren't able to do all of the stunts, and for that they will bring in the stunt doubles. And maybe Tim Neff is a guy like that, where we don't physically see his character on screen because the work he's doing is just as a stunt double for one of the main characters. So maybe that's the case for RDR2. Maybe it's the same case for Grand Theft Auto 6. Again, only time will tell, but there is a lot of loose ends here that just don't seem to make sense. Like, people are denying things, but then resumes contradict itself, and then more evidence pops up. It's very strange. So there was a lot of updates to this saga. That's why I wanted to sort of make a refresh video of it. I think this could be the first actor for GTA 6. What his role is, we don't know. At least the first actor that's known. By now, I'm sure there's, hundreds, if not thousands, that might be working on it. And sort of circling back to what I mentioned earlier, it's basically the first sign of life for Grand Theft Auto 6, because up until now, there's only been rumors and leaks, but there's never been any official information. So when you see something like this, where an actor has done work for Grand Theft Auto 6, it's obviously very interesting. And Tim Neff, to my knowledge, is the only one who has posted a resume online that has, stated that they've worked on GTA 6. So in the grand scheme of things, I don't know how significant this finding will be or his role in the game, but there's an old saying, where there's smoke, there's usually fire, and I feel like the fire in this case is definitely the next installment in the GTA series, Grand Theft Auto 6. And something to monitor over the next couple of days, that new resume website I showed off in this video today, don't be surprised if that gets updated in a couple of days. And honestly, take that as good news, because if that is the case, I think it adds more credibility to the fact that he actually might be working on it. But with this new page, he was way more generic. So it might not end up getting changed, but just something to keep in mind and something to monitor as well. But regardless, I find this to be pretty cool. And as always, with discussion-heavy videos like this, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments down below. Let me know what you think about this story. Do you think it's anything crazy? Do you think Mr. Tim Neff here is our main character, our protagonist, or do you think he's more of a stunt background role? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments down below. If you did go to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, or you like daily GTA and Red Dead Redemption 2 videos like this. With all the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.